What is up, everyone? Good evening, and welcome to a special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, and this is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. Before we get started, I would just like to tell you that as we celebrate 25 years of the Rated R Superstar Edge, I would like to encourage you to check out some of my reviews on my top 10 favorite Edge matches. There's a part one and a part two, both of which I did on Edge's birthday. So be sure to check those out. I'll be leaving cards and links if you'd like. Let's get started with also the funniest moment of the week will always be Adam Cole and MJF. Shut up, Shivani! That's funniest moment of the week, bar none. Now, let's get into tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown from the state of Louisiana, where, not New Orleans, but the state of Louisiana, where we had the Usos opening up, talking about love and respect. And of course, they talked about Paul Heyman being the snake that drove the wedge in the family. Paul Heyman is one snake that Kayla does not want as a pet, even though Paul likes Kayla. Paul's the one that likes Kayla. But in any event, moving forward, we had the Usos opening up the show. And then we saw the first match opening up the show would be LA Knight, who is really over with the fans, versus Rey Mysterio. And it was a great match. And before we talk about the match, let me just say LA Knight on Monday night was amazing. His promo skills are amazing. And the way LA Knight owned Logan Paul in his hometown, by the way, LA Knight got a better ovation than Logan Paul in his own hometown of Cleveland. Also, he totally got owned. What many people want to see LA Knight win. Many people fear that Logan Paul would win. God, if Logan Paul wins, all hell is gonna bust open in London. Fans will be irate, more irate than they were when Austin Theory won last year. But any event, we had LA Knight and Rey Mysterio go at it tonight, with LA Knight getting the victory. And LA Knight, as much as the fans really like him, he still does heelish things because technically he is still a heel, and tried to promote himself as a heel by attempting to rip Rey's mask off. Santos makes the save. Then we have a tag team match between Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, the MMA sisters, versus Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the Daughters of Darkness, as I might dub them, the Daughters of Darkness. And it was a unification match in which Shayna and Rousey tapped both Daughters of Darkness out at the same time. And also, before even with all of that, let me just point out that for some strange reason, they have a new theme song. Why is it that every time people leave NXT, they can't keep their theme? They just have to change what made them special and authentic. I don't understand. But in any event, moving forward, they're probably going to change Tommaso's theme. I mean, he came back with his original one, but they're probably going to change that because they just have to change things. But in any event, the Sisters of MMA are the unified tag team champions in the women's division. But Raquel, who was ringside, revealed that Liv Morgan, who had a great vacation in Mexico, at least her friends are true friends. For those of you who heard the story about what took place about that woman from North Carolina who went to Mexico with so-called friends, you get the reference. But at least Liv went to Mexico with Lana and true friends. Just saying. And she had a blast. Liv has been living, pun intended, positive pun intended. But tonight, Liv is back and apparently at 100%, hopefully. So I can't wait to see how that goes. Then we have Grayson Waller hosting Pretty Deadly, and I was sleepy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was halfway sleepy during this segment. I literally was. I mean, these guys were just boasting on themselves, and the Street Profits woke me up and just made me extra excited because I'm a huge fan of the Street Profits. But they lost tonight in a match. First off, let me point out I love seeing Montez Ford pay tribute to The Rock, who is under who is dealing with this lawsuit because Raka Khan for a this is just my opinion, my humble opinion. Off topic for a second, we saw Montez Ford pay tribute to The Rock with the Rock Bottom, and unfortunately for them, Pretty Deadly won by cheating. Let me just say, I am a huge fan of The Rock, and I think this whole thing about the kidnapping thing is a complete lie from the pit of hell. It's a lie from the pit of hell, and I rebuke it. The Rock is not that type of person, in my humble opinion. I truly believe this is a setup lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell, and I cast it down. Raka Khan, you a line wonder. But in any event, moving forward, unfortunately for the Street Profits, they lost tonight. And this makes me concerned that the Street Profits will actually. There's been rumors that the Street Profits are going to go villain soon. And if this keeps up, the Street Profits are going to start turning the smoke heel if this keeps up. Speaking of heelish characters, there's rumors that Bianca will go heel. And with everything that's going on, that seems inevitable. However, like John Cena, she's got a lot of young female fans, so you have to consider that as well. But anything can happen. However, Bianca could be going heel because she was told not to watch close up like Raquel did tonight. She was told not to watch next week's match between Asuka and Charlotte. Speaking of Charlotte, Charlotte was having a lot of fun in a SmackDown short tonight against Lacey Evans, where she mocked Lacey's "salute me" quote, and then went for the figure eight. Lacey tapped, and Asuka came and started attacking Charlotte, leaving her shoes behind. But no miss was thrown. But Asuka's got the new evil eyes because she's got those special red things in her eyes. Then we get to our main event. Earlier tonight, we saw Solo attack Ridge Holland as they were passing by. Solo saying, "I'm not in the mood tonight." So then that led to a match between Solo versus Sheamus tonight in the main event. Let's just point out a couple things. One of the things I would like to point out is, first of all, Solo understands what it's like to be Roman Reigns because Paul Heyman staring Solo to death. A snake staring you down. Then, fun fact, Roman Reigns today is a tie with Pedro Morales at 1,027 days as WWE champion. And also, we saw Sheamus and Solo go at it. The 10 beats of the Balor was done pretty slow. The first two were done pretty slow because of how intense the fight was. Then we saw Sheamus struggle to do the white noise. But I notice, if you pay close attention, and C Nation Dog, I know you're watching this. I know you like to point out when wrestlers don't literally make contact when they're doing moves. And you're supposed to make it look like it's making contact when it actually isn't. That was not the case in this match because Solo went for the rear end, putting Sheamus through the barricade. However, Solo made absolutely no contact with Sheamus whatsoever. Didn't even make it look like he ran. He was literally right here. And he was like, ah, you did not make any contact with his face. On one hand, that's a good thing because nobody wants their butt in their face unless you're a 2020 guy with a strange fetish for bottoms in your face. And people have a whole lot of strange fetishes these days. And I'm not judging anyone with fetishism. Let's just get off the darn subject. My point is that Solo did not make any contact with Sheamus in that move whatsoever, if you notice. But nonetheless, the match was waved off from a scripted standpoint because of the attack on Sheamus. And then Solo went after the EMTs and the security guys. And then the Usos came and attacked. Now, I need to point out one last thing before I go. It took both Usos to take down Solo. Now, they have a tag team match with Solo and Roman Reigns. So imagine having to fight Solo and Roman, the undisputed champion, by the way. And it took two of you to take down Roman last week. It took two of you to take down Solo this week. Y'all gonna have to clone yourselves if you guys are gonna face these two. Nonetheless, it's gonna be a great tag team match. Let me know who you think is gonna win that, and let me know what you thought about tonight's episode of Friday Night Smackdown. And that's all the time I have for you today. And if you enjoyed this, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. Peace. And shut up, Shivani! Just kidding. I like Shivani.